Okay, so the Alien Romulus official trailer has been released, and rather than focusing on what my initial thoughts are on the trailer as a whole, I want to talk about only the scenes that feature the Xenomorph, because they're very, very interesting. There's a little bit to cover when talking about this, so this is what I'm going to do. So I don't think it's a surprise at this point that we are going to see the original Alien that was featured in the 1979 movie. And the way that it's going to be presented in this movie, I think, is probably genius. We've already seen images that have been released of the Xenomorph featured in Alien Romulus, and it does look very close to Giga's original design. So let's jump to the scenes that feature the Xenomorph in the official Alien Romulus trailer. So the first scene that we see isn't exactly clear, but it is, of course, a Xenomorph. The shot starts out of focus and then it comes into focus and it looks like that the alien is expanding its fingers. There's not really much to go by from this scene, but I do think it plays heavily into a few scenes that would also feature the Xenomorph later on in the trailer. The next shot of the Xenomorph I really love. The Xenomorph here looks like the Xenomorph that was depicted in Alien Isolation, but obviously with Alien Isolation they were going off Giga's original design, so that of course makes sense. But the shot here looks like the Xenomorph is awakening from something. I do have my theory behind what it's awakening from and why it's doing what it's doing in the trailer, but of course I'll get onto that in a bit. This is a great shot right here, even though it's out of focus, or the Xenomorph rather is out of focus. Whenever there's a shot of a Xenomorph rising behind a character, to me that's always terrifying because it just strikes without warning. Still to this day, it's the greatest movie monster of all time. Okay, so this is where my theory comes in, and bear with me on this. We see this sort of meteorite looking thing enter the ship, and I am gonna say right now that this is the Xenomorph. Inside this sort of pod is the alien, and from what we've seen and what we're going to see later on in the trailer is the Xenomorph hatching from this pod. So my theory is that after the events of 1979's Alien, as the Xenomorph was drifting through space, over time it sort of just congealed, its body morphed into this thing, and then as the events of Alien Romulus take place, we're eventually going to see the alien hatch from this thing over time, but overall, that's my theory. This next shot right here is very quick. We can see that one of the characters is just absolutely blasting at the Xenomorph. Actually, this could be the scene in the other trailer that we saw, the teaser trailer. We see the character come out of what I suspected to be an elevator. This scene could take place during that sequence where maybe she's going up in the elevator and the alien is chasing her. My guess is that this scene takes place during that sequence. And yet again, we've got this shot going back to my theory. So this would be the scene where I believe where the alien is hatching from that sort of pod. And we can kind of see here that the Xenomorph's hands are clamped over its dome. This next shot of acid blood hitting the floor could be from that same scene. It could be the next sequence as the alien is hatching, it's kind of bleeding, or that could be a totally different scene. And then of course the final shot of the trailer shows one of the characters face to face with the Xenomorph, and the Xenomorph right here looks absolutely huge. We can see that it's got a cracked dome, so it has definitely sustained all of the injuries from the 1979 movie. All in all, fantastic trailer. I hope Fede Alvarez did have a hand in making this. And what are your thoughts on the trailer? Let me know in the comments down below.